Welcome. In this module, we'll take a look at part 2 of data protection, which is part of CIS control number 13, and we're talking about the very important subject of data protection related to confidentiality and integrity, which are two pillars from the three pillars, the third pillar being the availability of the information. Now, this is the version 7 CIS controls layout. There are 20 controls, and we're right now talking about CIS control number 13. Data protection. This is the system entity relationship diagram, as we have seen, and we will be utilizing network and host-based DLP, network access controls, data inventory classification, and endpoint protection systems to protect the data. So let's take a look at control number 13.4. Only allow access to authorized cloud storage or email providers. Now, what's happening in the organization is that there is Dropbox, for example, or there is OneDrive, and there are other cloud storage options available which users can use, and many of them are free of cost, and they may not be secure, or they may not be following the organizational policy, and usually the organization provides a storage folder, and that should be inside the organization, preferably not on the cloud. So this cloud storage mechanism on Dropbox or OneDrive, it could be used for data exfiltration, which is unauthorized, meaning people may be trying to store data, which is confidential data of the organization on a cloud drive like Dropbox or OneDrive, for example. And that may be against the policy of the organization. And the organization should provide folders, for example, on a shared file server, and should provide folders which are also backed up and which are archived. So under the organizational policy, whenever there is important information or team folders or bid data, for example, or any project information, that information should be stored on a file server, and team access can be given on that folder, and also the backups and archiving can be created so that critical data is not lost. This is a good way to store large amounts of data or critical information and data. And then you can also have file integrity monitoring on those particular folders to make sure that critical information is being accessed by the right people. So this particular control is very important because you will only be allowing authorized cloud storage, which is as per the organizational policy, and also email providers. So email provider like Gmail or Yahoo Mail or other types of mail also, which can be accessed from the web, that may or may not be allowed by the organization as access from the enterprise. And that should be a policy depending on the criticality of your business and the criticality of that particular computer. And then that policy should be enforced by the organization. 13.5. Monitor and detect any unauthorized use of encryption. So encryption, for encryption, we need to monitor all traffic leaving the organization and detect any unauthorized use of encryption. So sometimes what happens is that malware will encrypt data and will start data exfiltration, or attackers may actually create a encrypted session and try to exfiltrate or extract data from the organization. So we need to keep an eye on encrypted traffic, which is leaving the organization or even coming into the organization. Encrypt the hard drive of all mobile devices. Now this is 13.6, and this is very important because we need to utilize approved whole disk encryption software to encrypt the hard drive of all mobile devices, and that could be laptops, it could be PDAs, it could be handheld devices, mobiles, all of those devices which are mobile computing devices. Their hard disk needs to be encrypted. The reason is they could get lost, they could get stolen, and they could get misplaced. And we need to make sure that if the device gets into the wrong hands, that data will not be available to any person who is not related to the organization, to avoid the misuse of that information. That's all that we have for this module. Thank you.